Yeah.
Why did it take you 4 seconds?
It may have been my boosters. I'm not sure. It may also have been a delay in my brain, but I die for it.
Oh my god.
Okay, so this is just a super short thing about how to properly deal with a Reaper in these brawl comps, because you guys do it bad. Okay, just based on your comp, like, let's pretend that Rin is just not existing, right? Because he's on Sim, but normally he'd be on, like, Kree or something that could help with this. But let's just pretend he doesn't exist. The way, like, and you're against this Reaper Mei, right? I'm not even, like, this is just an order of events. This isn't even like a, oh, how do we deal with this? It's your Lucio watches their Mei. Your Diva watches their Reaper. When their Mei is not going aggressively on your Rhine, your Lucio will also watch their Reaper. Diva cannot eat Mei freeze, obviously, so that's why your Lucio watches it, and then the Diva will watch the Reaper because you can eat those shotguns. And then you will know when the Mei is going aggressively, so you'll be able to peel back properly for that. You guys do it badly, so we're gonna watch that super quick. I think it's when you guys get further back to like this area, but essentially like this Reaper walks around, you guys don't even like pay any attention to him, and you don't know like until he's already like glocking Justin in the back of the head. But that's the moment where you, Sean, immediately need to turn and watch that, and then your Lucio goes up and deals with this Mei here.
Okay.
But you both responded to this, and that results in your fucking BAP getting picked, and you lose the fight because of it. So it's Diva watch Reaper, Lucio watch Mei. If Mei is not a problem, Lucio also watch Reaper. Cool?
Yep.
Cool. That was a super quick thing I wanted to talk about. Also, do you guys know how to play against a Sombra? When you're in, like, these, like, brawl comps?
I would say, based off of a scrim that we played recently where a team played Sombra quite a lot, we struggled to capitalize off of what they did with Sombra.
It's really simple. And, I mean, it is more complex than this, but in neutral fights, you usually want your hit scan and your off-tank to poke at the Sombra until she's forced out, and then you go take the 5v6. Because a lot of the times... Let's just fucking... You guys just, like, get put... The fight happens, and then you're like, oh, Sombra, and then everybody freaks out about the Sombra a little bit, but people keep doing their thing. I don't have a perfect example of it, because it doesn't really happen too much here, but it's just, you poke at the Sombra, and then you go take the 5v6. Try to use, like, very few resources killing the Sombra so that you can go, like, actually run them over in that 5v6. I'm not going to poke at that too long because that's not really what I want to talk about here. But I hope that's at least semi-understood. I don't know why it doesn't let us do this always. That's really annoying. Okay, so actually getting to what I want to talk about here. There is a serious disconnect between your front line and your back line. I mentioned this in the scrim, but I want to look at some examples of you guys doing it poorly, so you actually know what I'm talking about instead of it just being some kind of ethereal thought. Justin, Lauren, and Sean, you guys need to be consistently communicating and updating where you guys are playing. And then Sean, you kind of float in between the front line and the back line because that's how double bubble works. But you guys need to be consistently communicating where you guys are going and what you guys are doing. Because on the second to last fight here, hey. I think it's this coming fight where you have a rally. Essentially what happens is, like, your Winston doesn't know where you guys are playing, so your Winston goes really aggressively on these stairs where Sean is, and Sean, you're also in a really shitty position right now. I think you should start high ground usually, but
yeah,
there's, like, no scouting for our backline. Whatever, that's not the point. The point is, like, because your backline didn't properly communicate where they're playing, and your frontline didn't properly communicate where you guys want to engage, this happens. So they start going to coast. Your Winston's up. Your backline is... You cannot get healed by your Ana. Also, I need to turn this off. But yeah, like, there is no universe where you are getting saved right now, buddy. There is no
Yeah.
you use primal and then I think you just die anyways, Johnny. Like, you guys have no idea where your backline is playing, and because of that you engage in an awful position and you just start too far up. Justin, Lauren, you guys need to say where you guys are playing, because this happens. You guys just get kind of picked apart. You're forced to use a lot of defensive ults, but you still get kind of like pushed from 5 different angles anyways. Like, it's just bad. It's just really, really bad. You need to communicate where you guys are playing, otherwise this is going to happen 100 times. On this map specifically, I actually think that if you have control of the point, your backline should be high ground like 90% of the time. Because if the enemy wants to walk up through here, this is a perfect nade spot. If the enemy wants to walk up through here, there's a lot of poke that your DPS can do, and your Sombra can off angle from like here-ish on their mini. But regardless of where you guys are playing, you need to communicate that. Because you guys got kind of picked apart here, and I think you guys ended up winning this point, but I really don't think you should have. If this were SF Shock, you guys would have lost.
Well, yeah, I think we will.
Yeah. I would believe that.
We may get diffed out in every roll, you know.
It would have been close though. It would have been like 99.
I think you missed my point.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
My point was to emphasize you failed to play properly, and the enemy didn't punish it.
Mm-hmm.
You lost this fight because you guys played poorly, not because they played well. That's... Yeah. This, and there's also an example of it happening on Rialto that I want to talk about. But like, you see how it's just like, you guys are like, yeah, like, you guys are just in like different fucking, like, you're in fucking different time zones. You're in different postcodes. Like, it doesn't matter if you're super far away from each other, but like, your frontline had no idea where you were. As a backline, you need to communicate that. And as a frontline, you need to at least have your head on a swivel enough to know where your backline is and be aware of where you want to be playing. Because it is on your backline to call where they're playing, but it is also on you as a frontline to check. This is a two-way street. And then call where you're engaging too. You guys started to do a better job of this. This is the first time I noticed it, so this is the first time I talked about it. You guys started to do a better job of calling where you wanted to engage, but like, they just kind of walked at you and you didn't do anything about it because you couldn't, like, you weren't ready for it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the better spot to play for default for backline?
I think
on
they
this
should
map in
start high
particular?
ground. They should start high ground. 100% of the time.
Alright.
Your Zarya, Sean, do you know if you can jump across this gap?
I'm almost certain you cannot.
Yeah, I think it's a bit far.
Okay, that's fine. Then it's not really necessary. That was just if you could. Yeah, but I think you should start high ground like 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Even against brawl comps, if they push this way, you nade. If they push this way, you poke. Your Sombra off angles, you nade. Like, if they go all the way around, you have better poke. You do better in longer fights usually. So, I think you should always start high ground here. And then on the retake, I think you guys shouldn't be afraid of going to this mega side. Not to traffic, but just because it's like Brig, it's just how Brig functions in those small spaces. You'll be able to like peek around corners and be ready to actually take that fight, as opposed to over here, like, it felt like very blind going into this fight. Like, your DPS weren't properly set up because you were poking beforehand. And there's not like a call out. That's just how the situation was. And then because of that, you were completely blind. But if you start the fight high ground, you always know where the enemy is going to engage on you from. You can always see it. Cool.
Roger, roger.
Cool, sir. Do you guys want me to... Actually, no, you don't really do it at all, but I do want to poke at the Sombra thing a little bit, and then we're going to go back to talking about your frontline backline disconnect, because it happens on Rialto, and there's a really good example where it could have won you a fight, like, super obviously. Okay, so you guys, we're gonna talk about playing around Sombra really quick. We're kind of jumping all over the place, so I apologize, but you played a lot of different comps throughout this, and I think Double Bubble and Brawl have like a lot of different concepts that need to be talked about. So you guys go to high ground. This is good. I like this. And then Johnny, you make a good call that you wait for their tank cooldowns, and then you go aggressively. That's okay. I don't think it's bad. The Reaper's flanking. I don't know why you dropped there.
No, I did not. No.
No.
There was no good reason other than fucking brain dead.
Okay, cool. So the Reaper TP's up here. I don't know what this engagement is from them, by the way, but you booped them off. Okay, you guys drop immediately, Sean. Your job is find Sombra.
Yeah.
Your job should be find Sombra. You are the guy who cancels the hacks. You are the guy who kills the or who stops the Sombra. Like, I actually don't like you dropping here, Pupper and Rin. I don't think it's good at all, but you did it, so that's what happened. But yeah, Sean, like your job should immediately be find Sombra, because right here, what needs to happen is you need to jump at the Sombra, and then the Sombra will leave, and then you take a 5v6 and you win the fight. This Sombra should be like 70 to EMP right now.
Yeah, I think at first when I got hacked, that shit should have been over.
Yeah,
Clean.
like that fight should have been over. Also, yeah, Rin, Justin, be more careful about dropping high ground in these situations. There is no reason for you to drop high ground, and you could have been punished. Just because you weren't doesn't mean you shouldn't have been.
Okay.
Hello.
Yep.
And then we're gonna watch another fight with the Sombra, and then we're gonna go to Rialto. We're jumping around a lot, so. I think it's... No, she doesn't have EMP yet, so it's like... You're spy checking, that's good. I know I'm kind of poking at you a lot, Sean, but like... That's how it is.
Oh, dude.
Okay, you know where Sombra is. She is farming. She is gone. Go. She's gone. She TP'd out. Go. You guys just kind of like... let them push into you. There's no like... attention put onto their front line. There's nothing that's like none of you are trying to like force out their diva or like poke at their Moira or anything. It's just like you just kind of let them walk into you, and then they do like a weird soft jump. And I think you guys end up losing this fight, but it's like their Sombra leaves, that's your trigger to go. That's the moment where you can just fucking int like an idiot, because there's nothing that's gonna punish you. But because of that, you let the Sombra come back, and then I think she gets a really good EMP off and wins this fight. Like, Sean, right now, fly at this bitch.
I may in a bit. Hold. Yeah.
Why did it take you 4 seconds?
It may have been my boosters. I'm not sure. It may also have been a delay in my brain, but I die for it.
Oh my god! I could not have ended in like any other manner. Holy shit.
Okay, so what have we learned?
Do not use boosters towards an edge.
If that's what you
can
got out of
cancel
this,
your boosters early.
if that's what you got out of this entire conversation, I think I should just go kill myself.
Yeah.
Sean's a feeder.
That is also true. I think maybe just like I could just like walk at her.
Yeah, walk at Sombra, force out Sombra, take the 5v6. Because, like, if you didn't get booped off there, and that's not like trying to poke fun of it, she has EMP right now, but you can win this fight. Because it's a 5v6. You have like 4 or 5 seconds just to go do whatever you guys want. And try and even the numbers before the EMP comes out. But like, in theory, you did the right thing there, and it could have gone well, but you just fucked it up because you did it too late. And I think this easily could have won you the fight. And also, this is not just you. If you need help with this, call for your McCree, call for your Lucio. There is no reason to go for plays solo when you can do them as a team. And if you're forcing out the Sombra, you can communicate that to your Rhine, so your Rhine knows not to play as aggressively for those few seconds, and then you can go force out the Sombra with your team, and then you go take the fight 5v6. But it was not. This was suboptimal, the way you guys played around the Sombra. It was suboptimal. Yeah.
So just in general, if we're playing Brawl versus a team who's playing Sombra Brawl, we should probably wait to use cooldowns before, like force out Sombra first at the start of the fight, and then use cooldowns to engage after.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty much. Pretty much. And that's not saying save all your cooldowns 100% of the time. If you need to use something, use something. But like sometimes you'll use this isn't like specifically at you, this is just an example. Like sometimes your Kree will use a flashbang to just do like another 100 damage to Ryan by, you know, popping his shield for a second, right? Maybe that's something that you try to force out the Sombra and then you can run them over with that, as opposed to just doing it and then hoping that you kill something. That's just an example. That's not something I see you do, Ren. So. But if you need to use those cooldowns to kill things, use those cooldowns to kill things. There's no reason not to. But just be careful of it, because using those cooldowns in a 6v6 is okay. Using those cooldowns in a 5v6 wins you the game. Do I have to leave this game in order to watch another VOD? That's fucking... Yeah. That is not based.
Welcome to Rialto.
Cool. Sorry, that was a lot longer talking about Sombra than I wanted it to be. But I also think it's very complicated to play around a Sombra, so I wouldn't, you know, it's whatever. And by the way, interrupt me at any point if you guys have questions. There's only a couple of things I want to cover overall here, so. This is, I think, the best example of your disconnect between your frontline and your backline. They are on a really easily diveable comp, and there was a conversation in coach chat about, like, maybe we should go, like, full dive, and it's, like, theoretically, like, or you know, maybe at a glance, it's like, yeah, full dive is the answer, look at how easy their team comp is to dive, but because of the fact that they don't really have a lot of counter dive tools, because they're on a Zen, you don't need the full dive comp. You don't need to run like a Moira Lucio in order to get the impact that you would be getting, just because they don't have all the tools, right? So you can stick on what you're on and do a really good job with it. Bryn gets clapped because you don't know they have a Widow. It happens. And then you swap Sombra here, and I really like the Sombra swap, but we're just going to let this play for a second, because there's a moment where your backline takes high ground, and your Winston is soft diving your backline, but the rest of your team is set up for this dive in courtyard, right? The rest of your team is ready to kill all of these guys, but the Winston's still up there and boxing out your backline, and none of you say anything. I think it's like, or it's when your DPS are properly set up, right?
Yeah, it might be right here. Yeah. I think I just got recall back.
Yeah. None of you said anything about this Winston here, and he boxes out all three of you for the duration of this fight. Look at them. Look at them. So supple, so tender. so easy to look at these cheeks. They want to be clapped, right?
God.
But like
I lost.
Yeah, but like, because of the fact that none of you back here really say, "Hey, wait to dive because we're dealing with the Winston," this is a nothing jump. Nothing happens here. You just feed ult charge. Imagine if your backline was up here the whole time. Imagine if like our DPS and our tank line were able to like wait for this to happen, right? And you guys would be up here the whole time. Look at how beautiful that nade would have been. Like, look at all the free firing you would have done. You could have packed both your DPS. You could have bubbled everybody really easily, but you guys just didn't say anything. Because you were like, oh god, oh, monkey is in my face. You need to think about the ramifications for what is happening immediately in the wider picture. Because immediately, yes, there is a monkey poking your backline. Buzz, buzz, buzz. He's zapping me, right? He's going to try to turn me straight. But you need to recognize this monkey is here. He is not just damaging me. He is stopping us from doing other things. And like, you need to communicate that. Because this was a nothing dive. You feed ult charge. if their Zen was better, he'd have Trank already. But you guys like are forced out of your position. The Widow's able to like, you know, pop off all the shots he wants. I think I said IHOP. I think Rin gets clapped here. Or maybe he gets forced out, I don't remember. But like you lose all of your positional advantage because you didn't say, hey, there's a Winston on your backline. Please wait. You know, there's the number you're trying to reach is not in service. Please hold. And that just somebody finds me funny. But yeah, it's very bad. It's just a disconnect, right? It's just there needs to constantly be a conversation of like, I hear a lot of I'm going calls from you, Johnny, not a lot of ready calls, or like, are we ready, Johnny? Like from you, Johnny. I hear a lot of like or not a lot of, but I sometimes hear like an I'm peeling call from our backline, but I don't necessarily hear a hey, we need to wait for this dive call, because like there's your immediate informational call of hey, there's a monkey on us, and then there is the wider informational call of that we can't push right now. We aren't able to do that right now. You guys need to chill. And like you just, it's on you to communicate that. It's on your team to understand what you saying there's a Winston on you means, but it is on you to say exactly what you need out of that situation. For you to demand exactly the resources that you require in order to make this a good thing.
I concur.
That is most of what I had to cover. There's a couple of other moments. Before I have another topic I want to talk about, but before I move off of that, is there anything you guys want to bring up in regards to this? Or any questions you have?
Real quick, just for the comm structure part, is it better for me to say, or like to start off saying like, oh, I'm ready to jump in 3, 2, 1, and then have the back line, then like call if like there's a monkey on them, or like should I like start out saying like, oh, are you guys ready, and then like
I feel like
3, 2, 1.
So this is gonna sound really like esoteric, but in a perfect world, you don't even have to ask if people are ready because everyone else should be telling you if they are. Like if the monkey's on someone, they should be saying it, and you should know that means they're not ready.
Yeah.
But I think the ideal comm structure is backline talks about when they need help. If you haven't heard anything, ask if we're ready, and then wait for confirmation, yes or no. Don't give me any of that bystander effect shit. If you know that you're part of the dive, call that you're ready for being part of the dive or being part of whatever, and then you do the countdown. So it should be like you ask, and then you wait for confirmation. It's not start going and then wait for someone to decline.
Okay.
I mean, I think you kind of did it decently, because right there you said like, can I jump? Can I jump? And I said in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was,
Like-
but I was talking to you, Grant, not
Exactly,
Our,
but I think right there, like, it can be just be like a more of a
Yeah, that somebody from
team-wide question.
somebody from the backline should have spoken up.
yeah, probably.
No, definitely. You would have won this fight if you guys took the extra 3 seconds to poke at this monkey and then dive this properly. It would have been perfect. It would have been beautiful, but it wasn't, so it wasn't. You did a better job. Okay, yeah, that's all I have on here. But yeah, that's how it should look, and that's like that's like anybody in like the backline should be ready to call that. Like Justin, if you don't have like a nade, you can call that to wait. Lauren, if you see that the Winston is pushing you guys, you can call to wait. If you don't have bubble Sean, you can call to wait. There is a balance you guys have to hit between the perfect dive and just going with what you have, but I think you guys will feel that out as you go. But right now you guys are just going with no thought process as to the wider ramifications of what's happening in a team fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I used that word properly.
I wouldn't notice.
Did you want to do anything else in this map? Because I did have a question on the second point.
Yeah, go for it.
So I think on second point, we really struggled for a while to actually properly cross there and pick a real good fight here. I was wondering what you thought would be the right resources to invest to get the best. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be a Widow, but it could be like a Pocketed Ash or a Hanzo. for crossing our backline and getting across, because the Tracer is not going to get across there with the Tracer marking them. So
Yeah.
only person that can realistically get there is like Monkey committing full unga bunga with like Pocket and Bubble and Sombra behind maybe. But I wasn't sure what you thought. I'll just leave it to you there.
Yeah, so this point is very similar to you know, like King's Row second. With that archway, because this is a really difficult point to push through, right?
Yeah.
So let's just watch this for a sec where you guys win this fight. And then I'll talk about it. Widow hooks up on left. My ears are so good. What the fuck, man? Oh, fucking Johnny got picked here. Okay, that makes it way more complicated than I thought it was. Because to me, the answer is you should already be here. Before you even cap the point, you should already be contesting this area, right? But you died at the end of that fight, so it makes it really, really difficult, huh? If you're like if you guys are SEAL Team 6, the play is to shield your Ana up here, so your Ana can poke out the Widow and then have your Tracer triple blink across.
Because I'm also thinking of like, even like, because obviously the fight immediately following the cap of first is a really good fight to get good positioning on like every escort second.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of also like, if you lose a fight on second point and then they retake.
How do you retake that?
Yeah. Especially as double bubble against a hit scan comp. I mean, to me, like, I was thinking, like, maybe you do really want to get a hero swap to put some, like, equal pressure there, but I think there's a way you can get around it.
Yeah, so this is one of those points, right, that's, like, really complicated like that. I think, well, there's a moment that happens, I think, in the second fight after this, because, yeah, your Sombra crosses, and I think you can... If they're not like, because they're on like Zen Ana here, right? I think if they're on Brig, it's a lot harder to do this. But you could have your Sombra go up and poke out the Widow, and then say, "All right, I want to cross," and you guys all cross as the Widow's getting poked. I think that's really doable. Justin, why were you over here? What the fuck? What the fuck was this?
He was getting the ang.
So it's gonna sleep their people.
Shut
crossing.
the fuck up and eat a cinnamon roll.
I believe it.
Yeah, like, Johnny, you should already be there. I think that you, like, when you don't have the cover of cart, it's a lot more difficult, as we see later. But I think you should have your Sombra uncloak as your Winston is... If you want to cross here, have your Sombra uncloak as your Winston is jumping. And so your Sombra starts shooting at the moment your Winston lands. Because that'll either force the Widow to focus on your Winston, or to focus on your Sombra, or to just try not to die. I think that's how you can cross here with this. But you need to, like, coordinate and set something up for that to happen. This is a really shitty point to deal with in this situation. So it's difficult, but I think that's the kind of play you have to make.
Okay.
You guys, like, cross up pretty for free here. Like, I don't think you guys win this fight, but I feel like you should.
Yeah, no, the play definitely was to...
Oh yeah, is this where Johnny falls through the floor?
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god. I definitely thought I was gonna land on the boat, let's just say,
No,
yeah.
I don't blame you for it, actually. I'm gonna... Somebody remind me to send a clip into general chat whenever we finish this VOD review, which is funny, but,
But, the initial win was to play for
EMP, no,
EMP
monkey.
and then, like, burn Zarya, because we knew that she had grabbed first.
yeah.
And I was, like, sort of, like, sitting main, waiting for that call from Rin.
And it just kind of didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I got pressured out too much, so
Yeah.
I just decided to take a swim.
You can just be waiting here, man. There's no reason for you to be waiting out here or on cart. You can just be chilling here. Like, you can, like, be, like, right here so your butt isn't poking out and you're not super in danger up there. I think you do a really bad job. You've done a little better, but you do a really bad job of taking poke before a fight starts. It's been improving, but, like... Remember that time
Well, we've heard that many times.
Remember that time I said you had, like, bad shield management on Ryan, so you wasted shield health?
Yeah.
You have bad health management on Monkey, so you
Yeah,
waste
that's
life
true.
health, and then you die.
Definitely have not heard that one before.
Well, I'm glad you're hearing this for the first time from me, a coach you respect and love. So, just trust your GPS to scout for you. And if you don't know, ask. Be like, hey, where are they going? What are they doing?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. Like when I get poked out, like pre-fight, it's 99% of the time is because I'm like trying to scout and I'm trying to call like where they're playing, what their positions are.
Because like this dude's in a great place to tell you what's up. This dude is in a suboptimal position, but like your Zarya can tell you what's up. Like ask.
Mhm.
You should be like a fucking ascended monk who's omniscient, right? You should have like 47 pairs of eyes. But you just like don't really have any. You got like 1.5 on a good day.
Yeah.
47 pairs of eyes, one monkey brain. What could stop him?
He's unstoppable.
Buffalo too.
Good night, sweet prince.
The splash.
So this next fight is another quick example of how you guys don't properly communicate between your frontline and your backline, and then we're gonna talk about. Actually, no, this is a waste of time. We already covered this. I want to talk about Blizzard World. Do you guys think you get what I'm really talking about in terms of your frontline and your backline? How you guys communicate?
Yeah.
Cool. Then I won't talk about that anymore. I want to talk about. This is the wrong map. I
Welcome
thought I clicked on Blizzard World. Wait, I did click on Blizzard World. What the fuck?
Yeah, you did. I don't know why. Did that.
Okay. So a second. Okay. I want to talk about how to properly trade backlines.
Yeah.
How you do it poorly.
Hey.
In this, if I remember correctly, in this upcoming fight, they do some. Wait, you guys are attacking right now? Why was I?
No, it was the other side.
It's on your
think.
defense.
Yeah,
it's on
it's
your defense.
defense.
It's completely my fault.
But I remember that call. It's after they cap first.
Yeah, it's on second point. Completely my fault. I apologize.
Objective lost.
We're gonna let this play for a second.
This is so weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I literally saw
I
you
go in to
get
die
retake.
and then I kill two.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Great job. I'm
Like,
so proud of you.
I didn't
Moving on. You guys do. What the fuck happens here? But you start, like, you know the ults they have, right? I think you guys ult track, like, pretty okay here. You know that they have Duplicate, you know that they have Nano. I think you call that they have Grav, which is actually, like, a reasonable call to make, given what you saw the Zarya doing, but she doesn't have it here. You call that they have Primal, right? This is a position where you are okay with trading backlines, and that is something that you call before the fight starts. If you are calling to trade backlines, that means your backline, you know, maybe you play over here, or maybe you play, like, over here. I think you guys play over here. But your Zarya plays like here, or like if you guys really wanted to go, you play up here, right? But you guys call to trade back, and like then when the fight starts and they start committing ults, right? Maybe they dupe your monkey and dive the backline. Your Zarya's in a position to fight. Your Winston's in a position to fight, and your Ana and your Brig are in a position to waste as much of their time as possible. So you play on the side ground or something. What's up?
Sorry, I have a question. Do I commit like Nano to like ensure that we get their backline? Or do I save it?
If that's the call, yeah. I know it's a really vague thing to do. Sometimes I would say if you have another ult, maybe try to save it and then nano your Zarya mid fight. But if you don't have another ult that you want to commit to that fight, go for it, nano the Winston. Because of how quickly you should be charging nano in this comp, it's a very versatile tool.
Yeah.
So I 100% leave that at your discretion, but be comfortable just using it if you feel like using it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, your Zarya like should be set up like in, right? Your Winston should be like ready to fight. And I think you like start. I think you grab, you grab and then you like walk away.
No, I walk into them maybe.
Yeah. But we'll just let this go for a second. Like, how did that Echo not see you? So you go for this grab. I think when the duplicate happens, you guys call to trade backlines.
Yeah, I think.
Apagando las luces.
First of all, Lauren, be way further up. 3-peek around the corner and go for whip shots to get your Inspire up.
Adapt.
Here's where you call it. And then your Zarya kites back.
Zarya.
Go. You gotta go. Stop walking back. If the call is to trade backlines, Sean, these people are no longer of any concern to you. They are fertilizer. They are mulch.
Understood.
You are the lawnmower, alright?
Okay.
Go back to your roots. Sean, I do damage.
Stop trying to walk back. You commit to this fight. You try to stay alive with your nades. You try to keep people alive with packs. This is good, right? Because you're trying to waste all of their time. But you should be in. You should be in. You should be in. If the call is to trade backlines, you fucking go. These people should not be as safe as they are.
We just weren't set up.
Yeah, exactly. Which follows into my next point of you need to call this before the fight happens.
Yeah.
Telltale signs, Grav Pulse, be okay trading backlines. Double primal or a duplicate, be okay trading backlines. If it's like just a nano or just a primal, you can probably peel that pretty easily. But things that like are overwhelming, double primal, Grav Pulse, nano and primal, sometimes you can kite through that. I trust you to make that call, but you need to make that call before the fight starts. Because right here, you guys make the call in the middle of the fight, and nobody's ready to do anything about it. These guys, like, Rally Rally ended recently. These guys are, like, this is so easy to kill them here if you were set up to do it, but because of the fact that you didn't call it beforehand, you're not ready. And that is usually on a to call. I'm sorry, I feel like I poke at Justin and Sean a lot in this VOD, just because of how Double Bubble works as a comp. Your Ana and Rosario are two of the most important people. But I can't stress enough that, like, if you think you're gonna die, if you think that there's a bunch of shit that's gonna kill you, be call to trade backlines. Because this will win you the fight if you just kill these people. And then by the time you guys call it and you want to commit, like, they're already in and they're already back at 6, right? But if you were ready for that earlier, it just wouldn't happen this way. That's really what I wanted to cover in terms of trading backlines, because I think this is the best example of it, especially considering how you fail to do it in the game. I say you as a team, that's not... I say you a lot when I'm referring to everybody. I hope that doesn't seem like I'm just yelling at one person.
Yeah, Johnny?
No, it's all about you specifically. You fucked up. Yes, I'm looking at you right now.
Yes. look, fucking. Where's my camera? Let's
get it up.
Yeah, just give it a sec. It's gotta load. I don't know why it's taken so. Whatever. I was gonna make a joke. But now it feels weird.
It's gonna be the Uncle Gunther one where he points right at you.
Face reveal.
Whatever. All right, I'll do it later so I can yell at you later. But that's what I wanted to talk about in terms of trading backlines. So if you have any questions, go for it. But otherwise, are we okay to move to a wrap up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're chilling. Or nothing for me personally.
Okay. I want to ask, what are you guys taking out of here today?
Jonathan. Or
Oh,
Renata.
is it? Oh. Gee.
What? Okay, I'll start again. Communicate more where you're playing and when, like, coordinate aggression or like kiting with frontline and backline. Like, make sure we know we're on the same page so we can go for clean engages.
Good.
And then for brawl stuff, if they're playing Sombra, we know how to sort of play against her in the neutral. And then
sorta.
How do you do it?
Basically, we have Diva plus DPS poke her out in the neutral. When she uses TP, then we invest cooldowns to engage.
Cool. Sounds good. Because you just said we sort of know how to do it, and I didn't know if you actually remembered.
I
Yeah, cool.
And call trading backlines if we want to do that.
before the fight.
Yeah.
I can
And
go
what-
for more
what-
aggressive
setup-
layouts.
And what are the situations that you would be trading backlines?
When they have like really strong combos.
Grav, Pulse, Nano, plus copy,
Yeah.
like primal copy, stuff like that.
just like very like obvious like fight winning ults pretty much.
Cool.